Okay, so problem 1, we have 5x plus 3 times x plus 4 equals 28. Okay, we don't have any fractions on this one. Our next step is to distribute. You have a plus in front of the 3. Remember, the operator goes with the term behind it. So we're not just distributing 3, we're distributing plus 3. So plus 3 times x is plus 3x. Plus 3 times plus 4 is plus 12. Okay, we're going to bring down the rest of the equation. So now we have 5x plus 3x plus 12 equals 28. So we've distributed. Our next step is combining like terms. Our like terms are 5x plus 3x. Okay, if there's not an operator, a plus or minus sign in front of a term, we assume it's a plus. Okay, so 5x plus 3x, we're going to combine them together. That gives us 8x. We're going to bring down the rest of the equation. Plus 12 equals 28. So now we've gone from a multi-step to a two-step. We have 8x plus 12 equals 28. So remember, our object is to get the variable by itself. To do that, we want to deal with the variable last. We want to undo addition and subtraction first. So opposite of plus 12 is minus 12. We're going to subtract 12 from both sides. Okay, plus 12 minus 12 gives us 0. We're going to cancel that out. 28 minus 12 gives us 16, and we're going to bring down the rest of the equation. Okay, so now we have 8x equals 16. We have a one-step equation. So remember to do the opposite. So the 8 in front of the x is called a coefficient. Okay, the x is a variable. When you have them together like that, without a plus or minus between them, when you have them together, it's multiplication. So opposite of multiplication is division. We're going to divide both sides by 8. That cancels. So we have x equals 2. Okay, problem number 2. We have 4x minus 3 times x minus 2 equals 21. Okay, now remember that negative goes with the 3. So we're not just distributing 3 to the x and the negative 2. We're distributing negative 3 to the x and the negative 2. One of the most common mistakes I see is when students distribute, they distribute to the first term, but they forget to distribute it to the second term. And we've all made that mistake before. Just kind of catch yourself and kind of pay attention and slow down. So we have negative 3 times x, which gives us negative 3x. We have negative 3 times negative 2. Remember, a negative times a negative is a positive, so it's plus 6. And we're just going to bring down the rest of the equation. Okay, so now we have 4x minus 3x plus 6 equals 21. So we've distributed. Now we're going to combine our like terms. 4x minus 3x gives us 1x. We're going to bring down the rest of the equation. Plus 6 equals 21. Okay, so now we've gone from a multi-step to a two-step again. So remember, we want to undo addition and subtraction before we deal with our variable. So we have plus 6, so opposite of that is minus 6. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. 6 plus 6 gives us 0, so it just goes away. You can cancel it out. We're going to bring down our 1x, bring down our equal sign. 21 minus 16 is 5. Now we don't need that 1 there. If you want to follow the same procedures. You have your coefficient and your variable. If you want to divide by 1, just to follow the same procedures, that's fine. I've seen students do that. So that cancels out. We have x, and then 5 divided by 1 is 5. Remember, anything divided by 1 is itself. Okay, or you can just write x equals 5, whichever way is easier for you. So now I want you to practice on number 3, then we'll go over it together. Okay, so on number 3, and if you hear my cats or washing machine, please ignore them. Okay, so 7x minus 3x, we don't have anything to distribute, but we need to combine our like terms. So 7x minus 3x gives us 4x. And then we're going to bring down the rest of the equation. So now we have a two-step. 4x minus 8 equals 24. We want to do the opposite, so we're going to add 8 to both sides. Okay, that cancels. We're going to bring down our 4x, bring down our equal sign. 24 plus 8 is 32. Okay, so now we have a one-step equation. We want to do the opposite, so we're going to divide both sides by 4. That cancels. So now we have x equals 8. Double check the work you did on that one. Okay, and then we'll do number 4 together. Okay, so on number 4, notice that we have a fraction at the beginning of our problem. So that was our very first step in solving, was to eliminate fractions. So remember, to eliminate fractions, we need to multiply times the denominator. So we're going to multiply, and notice we have a negative fraction. You can put that negative with the denominator or the numerator. It does not matter which one you choose, but you're only going to choose one. You're not going to use both. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both sides times negative 5. So negative 5 times 66. And then negative 5 times negative 6/5. Now, I'm not going to multiply it times what's in the parentheses, just what's on the outside. So negative 5 times 66 is negative 330. Bring down my equal sign. This negative 5 and that negative 5 cancels out. So we're going to bring down the 6 times x plus 3. Okay, so now we have negative 330 equals 6 times x plus 3. We're going to distribute the 6. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times positive 3 is positive 18. We're going to bring down the rest of the equation. Okay, so now we have negative 330 equals 6x plus 18. Okay, we have a two-step equation now. So we're going to undo addition and subtraction. So we're going to subtract 18 from both sides. Okay, that's going to cancel. We're going to bring down our 6x, bring down our equal sign. We have negative 330 equals negative 18. So that's negative 348. So now we have a one step. We're going to divide both sides by 6. That's going to cancel. So we have x equals negative 58. Okay, so for problem number 5, we have negative 7x plus 4x equals 5 plus 4. So this one just seems a little more complicated because we have stuff to combine on both sides. As we get into more difficult equations, you're going to have that more often. Okay, so all we need to do is combine like terms on both sides. So we have negative 7x and we have plus 4x. So that gives us negative 3x. We're going to bring down our equal sign. We have 5 plus 4, which gives us 9. So now we have a one-step equation. Negative 3x equals 9. Okay, we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. That's going to cancel. We get x equals negative 3. Okay, for number 6, we have 5x minus, and then times 4x minus 1 equals negative 12. So if you need to, okay, there's an invisible 1 there. So if you want to put a 1 there, you can. You don't have to. It's up to you. Okay, so we're still going to distribute it to the 4x and to the negative 1. So negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Remember, a negative times a negative is positive. We're going to bring down the rest of the equation. Okay, so we have 5x minus 4x plus 1 equals negative 12. We're going to combine our like terms. 5x minus 4x gives us 1x. We're going to bring everything else down. Okay, now we have a two-step. So we're going to remember to deal with undo addition and subtraction before you deal with the variable. So we have plus 1, so opposite of that is minus 1. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. That cancels. We're going to bring down our 1x, bring down our equal sign. Negative 12 minus 1 is negative 13. So the 1 just goes away, so it's x equals negative 13. Okay, for number 7, we have a fraction in the beginning. So we have a plus 7 divided by 8 equals 50. So remember to eliminate fractions. We're going to multiply both sides times the denominator. So we're going to multiply this times 8. Okay, we're going to multiply this times 8. That is going to cancel over here. We're going to bring down our a plus 7. Bring down our equal sign. 50 times 8 is 400. So we're going to undo the addition. So opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. What we do to one side, we do to both sides. That cancels. We're going to bring down our a, bring down our equal sign. 400 minus 7 is 393. And that is our answer. Okay, for number 8, we have n plus 1 divided by negative 2 equals 15. So remember to eliminate our fractions, we multiply both sides times the denominator. So we're going to multiply both sides times negative 2. Okay, that's going to cancel. We're going to bring down our n plus 1. Bring down our equal sign. 15 times negative 2 is negative 30. So now we have a two-step. N plus 1 equals negative 30. We're going to undo this. So opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. That cancels. Bring down our n. Bring down our equal sign. Negative 30 minus 1 is negative 31. If you have any questions, make sure you send us a message through Schoology or our email.